What is up, folks? I just wanted to check in. I am on day 78 of quitting smoking. Yes, I've continued to make it. I've made changes in my life. I feel better. I look better. I'm happy. And I just wanted to touch base because I know it's been a while. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Number one, when I was coming home last night from a friend's place, I passed my neighbor's apartment and she was sitting outside having a cigarette. Now, she quit smoking like 30 some days ago. Maybe, I don't know. But she caved in, and I guess for the past week or so has been smoking. And she felt really bad when she saw me because I've been kind of checking in with her to see how she's doing. And in fact, I had not checked in recently. She was kind of just on her own. Basically, I just wanted to talk about the fact that she felt like she has disappointed me. She felt some form of shame. And there's no reason to feel shame with people around you. If you fail at quitting, I mean, you should, of course, feel a measure of disappointment in yourself, but you are literally only hurting yourself. And people aren't going to be mad at you. They just want what's best for you. So I would say, while it's not important to feel shame, you should consider, getting back on it and getting back on it soon. I've said over and over, I've tried to quit many, many times. And one of the things that typically happens when you fail at quitting is it reinstills that you are a smoker. And then you go on to smoke for many months or even years after then before you consider quitting again. And I would say you have an advantage that the person you were before didn't have. You know that it's not terrible. The one thing that's universal among all smokers who are about to quit is there's the fear of the unknown. How terrible is this going to be? Well, it's not terrible. And you, person who have just caved in, you know that it's not terrible, that it was getting easier, and that maybe the beginning sucks a little bit, but it typically is going to get better. So you have that advantage, so make it a point to quit again as soon as possible. I mean, what have you got to lose? And you need to figure out what's going to keep your resolve going when you get so far out and you get those cravings. So that's just like topic one. Topic two is something a little bit more controversial. I've commented on other videos when I see a particular topic arise, and that is of secondhand smoke. There is probably the correct school of thought, which is that if you're around secondhand smoke, generally the nicotine is going to fall out of that smoke fairly quickly and you won't be exposed to nicotine. You're going to be just fine. That is probably the correct way to think. I don't think that way. And it's not entirely scientific because I can't conduct like scientific studies, but there's a way that I feel. And this came up again last night. So I'm 70 some days into this. And this has been fairly easy for me, especially after the first couple of weeks. And I'm at a point now where I rarely think about cigarettes. And when I think of them, I don't even think really fondly of them. I don't really care. I just don't want to be a smoker. And I'm keeping my resolve up, and I'm doing the work, and I'm just not smoking. And that's the way that I want it to be. But when I ran into my neighbor last night, I was talking with her, and generally when I'm around secondhand smoke, I have this fear that a little bit of nicotine is going to get into me and it's going to make me feel like some form of withdrawal again. And I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel the days 1, 2, 3 of quitting smoking. So I generally, if I'm going through any like secondhand smoke, I hold my breath, I walk through, I get away from that shit as fast as possible. Well, my neighbor was talking to me and I didn't want to be rude, so I was talking and I was getting a lot of secondhand smoke. And last night after that, I just didn't feel right. I felt kind of weird. And like, I guess there is some science in that I was probably getting more like carbon monoxide than I normally would just breathing regular air. But I will say, without a doubt, when I woke up this morning, I had a like craving, like I actually went through the thought process of how I used to wake up, immediately go outside and have a cigarette. My brain walked through that path of events and I don't even think of cigarettes. There are days that I go without thinking about cigarettes. If I don't see someone smoking, I don't even think about them. And here I have this like actual like craving and like internal like run through of events of how that would go. So in my opinion, and I'm saying I see people smoke all the time and it doesn't bring this upon me. But the few times that I've inhaled a lot of secondhand smoke, I have had what I would consider cravings that are not typical of where I am in my quit. And I would say that even if my science is entirely wrong, even if this is not a thing, I feel like you're better off just staying away from secondhand smoke if you have the opportunity to. And yes, not if you smell a cigarette, not breathing in it, getting out of there, holding your breath for 15 seconds while you move to an area where you don't smell any smoke. There are people in my life that I've known who have failed their quits. And one thing that is common from all of them is to say, I still enjoy the smell of smoke. And I guess that kind of goes for me too. I don't find it abhorrent or anything. But I'll tell you that it isn't really on my mind very much because the moment that I start to smell any smoke, I get away from it. I don't want it in me. And I have to say, in like my situation last night where I'm having a conversation, even then I was trying to like, point my nose the other direction, not get all this secondhand smoke. But I have this feeling that if I had sat there and really just let all that secondhand smoke get into me, I might have had stronger cravings today. I'm not saying I would have failed, but I also I'm in a great state of mind where I know I'm not going to fail. I will never fail. There is no way that I'm going to touch cigarettes again. And I'm staying set in that. I'm not going to ever smoke another cigarette a day in my life. But somebody who maybe in their quit is struggling a little bit and all of a sudden takes in a little secondhand smoke, and let's say that it does make it harder, that could be a trigger that gets you, wrapped back in it. So in any case, I don't think there is any negative to never trying to stay away from secondhand smoke. And if the science is wrong, so what? You don't get all that carbon monoxide and all the filthy chemicals and stink. So, but it's probably the fact that I'm kind of a weirdo that way, and it probably has no basis, but I'm attributing some of my success to the fact that I stay away from smoke. I just do. I personally won't smoke, but I also don't stick around situations where I am going to ingest any secondhand smoke. So, in any case, I could be wrong, I could be right, but hey, in any case, I'm doing wonderfully. I hope you are too, and take care of yourself, and I will be in touch again soon. Good luck to you all, and stay strong. Peace out, homies.